People want to blame Baker Mayfield for this loss. They don't know football. The real loss was the head coach, aka play caller. This guy is absolutely atrocious at calling plays. Let me tell you this stat right now. Now keep in mind, just listen to this. On the very first drive of the game, Dearness Johnson ran the ball 4 times for 58 yards, 14.5 yards per average. The Browns ran the ball 3 more times the entire first half. Let that sink in. We got down 14-7. Stefanski panicked and went pass happy. Abandoned the run. That's why we lost the football game. It's almost as if Kevin Stefanski wanted Baker Mayfield to play bad so he could get a new quarterback. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But I will say this. This is a head coach that cost this team another chance at competing. At least offensively. Defensively was another story. I was never more embarrassed in my life for Joe Woods and Kevin Stefanski. Well, Kevin Stefanski for allowing it to happen. This analytic-driven based thing that we do with the Cleveland Browns is making me sick. The reason our defense is so pathetic is it's analytic-based. They figure if they got to play 15-play drives, the offense is going to make a mistake. We'll get a turnover. Well, they had 3 drives of 90-plus yards, you fucking imbeciles, and one of 83 yards. No mistakes. In fact, it was the first time in Bill Belichick's history they had 3 drives of 90-plus yards, and it wasn't orchestrated by Tom Edward Brady. Remember what we did to Joe Burrow last week, who by far is better than fucking Mac Daniel Jones. We blitzed him, made him uncomfortable, and he looked like shit the whole game. That's what you do to rookie quarterbacks. You don't sit back there and let them sit in the pocket and play catch with the receivers like we did. That's why Mac Denise Jones looked so great this week. Also, why Baker Mayfield looked great last week, too. They didn't get any pressure on Baker, and he played catch. And if you look at the numbers, Mac Daniel Jones, 23 passes, Mayfield, 21 last week, 14-21. Mac Daniel Jones, or Mac Denise Jones, 19-23, 188 yards, 190 yards. Baker had 214. 3 TDs, Baker had 2. Baker just was a passenger. He's not the reason they won. I'll guarantee you tomorrow they say Mac Jones is the reason they won. Watch. I've never seen a defensive game plan so bad. You need to put pressure on a rookie quarterback. Let me ask you something. Why did you put pressure on Joe Burrow last week? Exactly. You do the same to Mac Jones, you fucking imbeciles. This was the worst coach team I've ever seen. It doesn't make any sense of what they do. Remember last year when Stefanski decided to throw the ball 58 times with the Browns having no receivers? They all had COVID. This reminded me of that game. They ran the ball 3 more times the first half after that first drive. They were down 14-7. Stefanski played like it was fucking 48-7. He is the worst. Listen, this guy's not equipped to be a head coach. I'm sorry. He is not equipped to be a head coach, and I'm tired of saying this every fucking week. And I'm getting tired of hearing this fucking clown say every week, "Oh, I got outcoached. I got outcoached. Oh, we're not playing." Fix it. I hate the guy. He single-handedly has destroyed the Cleveland Browns' chance for the playoffs. The Browns are done. They have a chance to win that division, or remotely. They have to win basically every fucking game now. But they're not making the playoffs a wild card. No fucking way. They're going to win the division. Kevin Stefanski is not equipped to be a play call, let alone head coach. I don't know why they hired this guy. I didn't like the hiring then, and I don't like it now. You have to ask yourself, has Kevin Stefanski made Baker Mayfield a better quarterback? If anything, we've seen Baker Mayfield regress the last 2 years. You know, he had 26 TDs, 8 interceptions last year. He had 27 TDs in 13 games his rookie fucking year. Kevin Stefanski's turned Baker Mayfield into a cautious game manager. That's what he's done to him. He's taken away. Let me give you a little analogy. Say you had 6 kids, and one of them was a bad apple, like me. And say that bad apple killed the rest of your kids when you were sleeping one night. You sent him to a boot camp. 2 years, he came back in to live with you. Say you had 2 more kids when he went out. And he came back in, and you say you want him to kill one of your other kids. He couldn't do it now because he's a reformed. He's just not that guy anymore. That's what Kevin Stefanski did to Baker Mayfield. He's turned him into a fucking game manager. Not the free gunslinger that he came out of high school or college, whatever. He's ruined Baker Mayfield. He really has. He's regressed under Kevin Stefanski. Yeah, he doesn't throw as many interceptions, but let's call a spade a spade. He doesn't throw the ball that much. All we do, and I don't understand why we run so much, but today we abandoned the run like that. After the first series, we ran the ball 3 more times in the first half. What the fuck was he doing? This was the worst coach game. The last year's Jets game was terrible, but this is even worse. Because his coaching ineptness allowed this game to be a blowout, and the defense looked like it wasn't even prepared to play. You know why they weren't prepared to play? You notice last week they were having fun out there playing all over the place. They looked great, didn't they? Yeah, against the Bengals and Joe Burrow. You know why? Because they were getting after the quarterback. They weren't sitting back playing this little soft, oh, get the ball complete, we'll make a tackle. Get the ball complete, we'll make a tackle. They were aggressive, and they played like it too. This week, different game plan. I'm so tired of this analytic-based fucking shit scheme with the Browns or theme. I hate it. I can't stand it. It's killed our quarterback. It's killed our offense, and I seen the morale. Players on that offense look fucking... They didn't look too happy. Neither did some of the players on defense. This team gave up like... They made Mac Denise Jones look like a fucking superstar. And basically, he played the same game Mayfield did against the Bengals, basically, with 2 more completions, 3 more completions, whatever. Same fucking game. I can't blame Baker Mayfield for this loss. He had a bad throw. Now, he should have had 2 more interceptions, no doubt about it, but he had a bad throw. It was a worse decision to throw it than it was to throw. It was just a terrible throw, but I can't even blame him for this loss. The play calling didn't give him a chance. It was like, there was no one open. We're trying to throw the ball. Everyone was covered. But they were trying to force Mayfield to throw. I don't know what Stefanski was thinking. I hate this clown. I hate him. And if I'm Jimmy Haslam, after watching this performance, this team just quit. They weren't even prepared to play. After watching the play call in the first half, this guy preaches we're a running team, and we only ran the ball 3 times in the first half after that fucking opening drive. That's an anomaly and an embarrassment. I don't understand Stefanski. I can't understand Stefanski. I don't understand anything he does. I can always understand what a coach does. Like the Steelers. They had like 20 seconds left in regulation. I figured, man, throw the ball downfield. Try to get a Hail Mary to kick a field goal, whatever. But Tomlin said, you know what, we're going to overtime. And I realized what he's thinking. He's like, Jared Goff sucks. He's not going to move the ball on us. So I understand that. But what Stefanski does, they don't make sense football. His decisions don't make sense in the realm of football. It doesn't. Nothing he does makes sense. All he can do is bully teams that are fucking with... He can bully teams that are bad. Poorly coached teams like the Bengals with poor quarterbacks and poor teams. He can beat them, but he can't beat good coaches. And today, running the ball 3 times after that opening drive, I can't get that out of my head. Why? Dearness Johnson was running great. Is it have something to do with maybe he didn't want him to make Nick Chubb look expendable? His buddy Nick Chubb, he's like, if I keep running Dearness, they're going to realize that Nick Chubb's not as great as everyone thinks he is because it's this offensive line. Could it be something like that? To run the ball 3 more times down 14-7, even 21-7, and run it 3 more times in the first half is it's absurd. I do not like this guy. And the Browns will never be good under Kevin Stefanski. I'm sorry. He's not a head coach. And he's not a play caller. He's already proven that. Hey, last year in the playoffs, take the cake. He's terrible. We already know that. And the only reason we got to the playoffs last year, I already called it was COVID. It was a season where everybody was... Listen, we were healthy last year. It was COVID. The guy's terrible. It's time to make the move and fire Kevin Stefanski. He's not a head coach, and he's not a play caller. This guy, it's like he got a little toy at Christmas. He got to call plays 1 year in Minnesota, and now... Let me ask you something. What good head coach calls plays still? Nobody. Nobody wants... If you're a head coach, who the fuck wants to be with that responsibility to call plays? Delegate. I hate this guy. So Kevin Stefanski's the problem in Cleveland. It's not Baker Mayfield. He may be the problem, but I'll tell you the biggest problem right now is, listen, Baker may be the problem in Cleveland, but the biggest problem is Kevin Stefanski. It's not Baker Mayfield. Kevin Stefanski is by far the biggest problem in Cleveland. It's not even close. Joe Woods, if Kevin wanted him to blitz, all he had to do was tell him to, but he didn't. All Kevin cares about is holding that fucking play sheet. That's all he cares about. Biggest problems in Cleveland is Kevin Stefanski. I don't even blame Joe Woods. He's just doing what they tell him to do. I mean, when you think about it, it's an analytic-based defense. He's just doing what they tell him to do. Now, the players should revolt and say, listen, let us play aggressive like we did against the Bengals. Because if they would have got aggressive against Mac Jones, trust me, it would have been a different outcome. I'm not saying we would have won, but I'll guarantee you they would have put no 45 points on the board. That was absurd. It's almost like these players just don't want to play this defense, and it's showing. So we lost this game based on coaching today. And it's all coaching. I can't blame Mayfield. It's all coaching. He threw that interception. All Stefanski had to do was regroup, stick his foot in the ground, run the ball, but he didn't. He chose to fucking throw the ball 98 fucking times again, whatever. Jimmy Haslam, do what you do best. Fire a head coach and get a better one. Our season's over, by the way. Our playoff shot is a wild card. We're not making the wild card. We already took ourselves out of that. We have to win the division, and we can still do it. But you better win the rest of your games and go 12-5. And that also means that you're going to have to beat Green Bay, Baltimore twice, and you'll beat Pittsburgh, Detroit, and Cincinnati. I don't know who the seventh team is, but you're going to have to do it. And I don't even care anymore. Kevin Stefanski's killed football for me. He's killed our quarterback. Our quarterback was actually better under Freddie Kitchens. He was actually way better under Greg Williams. This guy here, he's chased away Stephon Diggs. He's chased away Odell Beckham Jr. Hey, I'll guarantee you, if we didn't have Kevin Stefanski right now, Odell Beckham would have worked in Cleveland. That was a nail in the coffin. It would have worked in Cleveland. Odell was chased out by Kevin Stefanski again. And consequently, Kirk Cousins looks a lot better without Kevin Stefanski. If you want to save your quarterback, get rid of Kevin.